Doesn't this car look sharp? I think it's more radical, even more radical than a race car. Maybe more radical than a race car you've been driving.
It's insane. There's more air detail here than I think I've ever seen in any street car.
That's right. I mean, all the exits, all the air vents, all the flaps are there for a reason. There's nothing fake, there's nothing exaggerated. I can't remember any project where we spent more days and nights, countless hours in the wind tunnel.
The new GT3 RS takes road car aerodynamics into a completely new sphere. We've never put so much effort in the development of a GT sports car. With over 1,500 simulations and more than 250 hours in the wind tunnel, we've been able to achieve a new level of performance. We doubled the downforce compared to its predecessor, and in comparison to the GT3, it has even been tripled. This radical change in downforce is due to a new packaging of the front of the car. The 3-radiator layout is now a mono-radiator concept like we use in our uncompromising race car, like the GT3R. The first time in our road car history, we have a proper high-performance front wing that is also fully active and infinitely adjustable. We can rotate the front flap by over 80 degrees, and this in just 0.3 of a second. By rotating the flap in high downforce position, we achieve the maximum downforce configuration, and the load on the front is raised to a maximum. We needed to increase the venting of the wheelhouse. The traditional outlet on top of the fender with the louvers was not enough anymore. A new passage for the air behind the front wheels was designed in order to increase the venting. Even the door design was affected by it. Not only does the new GT3 RS has turning vanes on the underfloor, they can also be found on the roof of the car. When the hot air exits the front radiator, it would just flow over the top of the roof, and the engine air is affected by it. So we have a new hood outlet that pushes the air to the sides, and the roof fins continue this work and keep the hot air on the outward direction. The rear ring is of course huge. It is made of a fixed mainplane and the movable second element, the flap. Together with the active system in the front, we can reduce the drag by nearly 30%. When you press the DRS button, the DRS drag reduction system, the car turns the flaps into a low downforce position and you achieve the lowest drag of the car. The new GT3 RS is really a whole new milestone in road car aerodynamics. The combination of these two new aero systems, as front and rear, gives you the perfect aero balance and perfect aero setup for every condition on the racetrack.
Unbelievable. In many ways, it suggests this car would be on par with an FIA GT3 race car.
Yeah, I think from the downforce values it is. It produces 860 kilos at 285 kilometers per hour, which is a speed that you reach on a Döttinger Straight, for example, on Nürburgring. And just look at the father of all wings. It's towering so high above the car, it's even a little bit higher than the roofline of the car.
I'm convinced this has to be the most extreme street-legal GT car ever.
Absolutely. That was what we were aiming at when we began with the project. And the great thing about it is it offers such a great, rewarding driving experience on the track. It put a smile on my face every time I use it on the track, and all the development team as well. And that's a good sign that all the customers will love it too.
I can imagine. That brings me to my next curious question about lightweight materials.
Lots of those to be found on that car, even though we hide them away with paint. The ducktail is made of carbon fiber, as is the rear wing, as is the roof. We have very, very thin glass that is super lightweight all around the car. And for the first time, this car features carbon fiber doors, which shave off almost 5 kilos of the weight of the car. And they're integrated into the aerodynamical system of the car, having a different shape than the normal 911 door. And we have conventional door handles. Let's go to the front. Front fenders, carbon fiber, front lid, carbon fiber, and lots of bits on the suspension as well are carbon fiber or super lightweight materials. If you look at the interior, lightweight carpentry, extensive use of microfiber cloth. So we're looking at every component of the car, and there's lots of bits on the car. I mean, it's our passion to make these cars as lightweight as possible.
And the heart and soul of these cars. Let's talk a little bit about the engine.
It's a 4-liter flat 6, 9,000 RPM. We upped the power by 15 horsepower over the GT3, so it has 525 horsepower. By using hotter cams with longer duration, so the car makes more power at high RPM operation, has different cylinder heads for more lubrication in super high G situations, which that car really produces. We changed the cooling system a little bit.
I get excited when you talk about cam tweaking, more cooling. GT3 RS and PDK, they go together.
Absolutely. RS means range sport, means using the car on the track, trying to get the best performance out of the car on the clock as well. So you need a 7-speed PDK. It shifts faster, it is quicker, and it is easier to operate, to get the best lap times out of the car, and it's the perfect fit for that kind of car and for that engine.
I spent a lot of seasons racing with Jörg Bergmeister, and sharing a car with him, it was very apparent he's a bit of a suspension guru. I assume he's quite the same and pushes your team pretty hard.
He's a perfectionist, absolutely. He's never happy with the suspension, and he really drove our suspension engineers to their limit. But it was a good thing for the car.